special power. Everyone has something they're passionate about. Everyone is a subject matter expert. Here at Nerdmasters, we help you share your expertise. In our digital world, we Toastmasters must master basic communication technologies in conjunction with speaking and leadership skills. We formed the Nerdmasters Advanced Club to expand our understanding of technology so we can better serve our clubs and our communities. We are nerdy Toastmasters, enthusiastically exploring the intersection of technology, leadership, communication, and nerdly pop culture. Welcome to the Nerdcasters podcast.
Game begin.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of the Nerdmasters Nerdcast podcast. I am Carolyn Curley, Distinguished Toastmaster and past District 32 Director. With this segment, we are interviewing division directors. Tonight, I have Gary Hartman, our Division D Director for District 32. Gary, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
We'll start with a few questions. The first is, why did you join Toastmasters?
Why did I join Toastmasters? I joined Toastmasters in 2016. I had just been elected to a position in a political party to be on the state committee. So I needed to be able to speak in public, and I wasn't very good at it. So I thought Toastmasters would be helpful. My son had previously been a Toastmaster in Hawaii, District 49, and he suggested that I join the local Toastmasters group, which was Success Speaks.
Well, thank you. Joining, a lot of people we hear say they want to join to be better speakers. What have you learned from your Toastmasters experience?
Well, I've definitely learned about public speaking. I have probably given a few dozen speeches by now. In the traditional legacy program, I got as far as advanced leader bronze and advanced communicator bronze before time ran out, because when pathways rolled out. So I've learned a lot about public speaking and leadership too. That's how I got to being the division director, and in addition to holding numerous offices in the club.
Sounds like you have learned a lot between speaking and leadership. Tell us about your greatest achievement in Toastmasters so far.
Let's see. Well, besides being appointed as a division director, also, I took a failing club, Word Weavers, and brought them to be President's Distinguished with the help of our coaches, Larry Crack and Brad Grinrod. And in addition to that, I had to find us a suitable meeting place because the one we had was just not acceptable. And I became the president to take over for the previous one who had been not very, very effective.
You mentioned the President's Distinguished. Can you elaborate on that a little bit? What is that? And what does that mean for a club to achieve that status?
Okay, they have in the Distinguished Club program, there's 10 goals to be met based on membership, educational accomplishments, and leadership and record keeping. To be President's Distinguished, you'll need to have 9 out of 10. So that means that we had to have at least a certain number of members, which would be, at the time, 5 more than what we had before, up to a maximum of 20. Plus, you had to achieve at least 9 out of 10 leadership goals. And we were able to do that.
That sounds like it took a lot of work, not only on your behalf, but on behalf of encouraging your members. That's a great accomplishment.
Thank you.
As a division director, it helps to think about where we're going, what we're doing, and how do we encourage our members. What is your vision for your role this year?
Well, of course, I would like majority of my clubs to be distinguished in some way. I like the majority of members to embrace pathways and pursue the pathways projects. And of course, to have people step up to leadership roles. As I had a very hard time getting area directors to work under me. In some cases, I had to beg and grovel to get them to take the roles.
Well, I know with this podcast, we're hoping to encourage all of our members to consider different aspects of Toastmasters, leadership, and speaking beyond the club. I want to thank you for sharing that aspect, that it is hard sometimes to find leaders, but we are a team and we do work together. When we look at what we offer our members, what training ideas would you like to have available for our members?
Well, we already have officer training, which is good for people who are officers or want to be officers, but we don't have a great deal to offer the average member who does not feel up to being in a leadership role at this time. So I think they should reinstate membership development days, which we did have in the past, which is intended for all members, not just the officers, to go over such things as pathways and what Toastmasters can do for you.
Those are great ideas. Membership development days were a lot of fun. We were able to support members, not only presenting information to our members, but for them to grow as more professional speakers. Well, Toastmasters can take a lot of time, especially when you are serving in the district leadership team. How do you balance your commitments to Toastmasters, your division and clubs, along with your professional and personal life?
That's not always easy to do. My wife wants me to spend a certain amount of time with her, so I try to do that whenever I can. I'm at this time, I am retired from my regular career due to some health issues a few years ago. Sometimes we have conflicts, like two groups meeting at the same time. As an example, last month we had the district conference for District 32 and District 21 at the same time. Because I'm a VPE, I was invited to be part of that. So I had politely declined District 21 in favor of District 32. I felt as a division director that was a greater calling and my responsibility specifically to attend that. So yes, it's not always easy. And then I am a member of multiple clubs, so I just devote a certain amount of time to each one on a given day.
How many clubs do you belong to now, Gary?
4. Success Speaks and Word Weavers in District 32, Division D. Norvik Toastmasters in District 21 in Victoria, British Columbia. And Hiroshima Phoenix Toastmasters Club in Hiroshima, Japan.
It's amazing how the world has been able to shrink with the use of technology and online meetings. Those clubs all sound like great opportunities to speak, to lead, and to learn. What would you say to our members in District 32 to encourage them to take on leadership roles within the district?
Well, we have to try to convince them that it would be beneficial for them and the organization for them to take on leadership roles. With more responsibility comes more skill and knowledge. least that's the way it's supposed to work. And I've learned a bit from my wife, who was an area director for 2 years. And I was an area director myself for a year before becoming a division director. But it all starts at the club level. So it's important to encourage the leadership aspects. It's like, for example, to begin with, taking on roles at the meetings. And then advancing to some of the easier officer roles, and then from there to the more demanding ones.
The little steps make a difference. And starting with those little steps in the club, taking on those tasks, learning those skills and gaining the confidence. Once you gather and gain those skills, stepping out beyond the club is a great way to grow your own skills and build confidence. Do you have any other final comments, Gary?
Well, thank you for this opportunity. And what role do you plan on taking in the future? Are you going to step up to the international level?
I would love to, but at this time, my job doesn't allow the opportunity or the time off to do so.
I recognize the voice.
Yeah, I suggested that to Roberta,
supporting,
and she just laughed.
Hi.
Supporting others, encouraging others. That's really what Toastmasters is all about.
Yes,
building the confidence from a person just stepping in the door and growing them to become leaders. Gary, thank you for stepping up to serve District 32, especially as a division director this year. We look forward to seeing where else you might be willing to serve next year. For our viewers, thank you so much for joining into this Nerdmasters Nerdcast podcast. With District 32, I am Carolyn Curley with Division D Director Gary Hartman. Behind the scenes, I would like to thank Merlin Miller. We encourage you to check out District 32 website, d32toastmasters.org. Check out the website for Nerdmasters. Even for those with limited technical skills, you have a nerddom that you can explore. It might be speaking, it might be leadership, technology, or something more. Join us in District 32 and Nerdmasters. I'm Carolyn Curley, and I'm signing off now.
Whether you identify as a gamer, technology nut, or just have a commitment to studying how technology is changing and improving both leadership and communication, our Nerd Herd has a place for you. Find out more about us at our website, nerdmasters.org. Join us the first Wednesday of each month at 7 o'clock Pacific, and get to know us before our meeting starts promptly at 7:30. You will visit our club and enjoy it.
Resistance is futile.
Game over.